well, you're dirty. So like in Psalms 23, it talks about how like David's cup, he's writing the psalm, he's like, man, my cup overflows. And just like right then, I was really distracted talking to you because I'm trying to make sure this paint doesn't overflow. That doesn't just cause a mess everywhere. And that's what I think about. When I hear about cups overflowing, I got 3 kids. That means I'm thinking about like spilled juice. That means I'm thinking about spilled paint. Like it's not like something fun or exciting that I'm looking forward to. But it just goes to show how radically different God thinks compared to the rest of us. Because whenever we think about overflowing, we think of paint and we think of messes. But when God thinks of overflowing, he's talking about love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, all these great things, and how it's radically different than anything we could even ask or imagine. And so we allow God to overflow in us, then others will see it. He even talks again in Scripture where God's like, yo, just test me and you're going to see what's going to spring forth. So I say all that to say, don't be afraid to just let God spring forth and just over. So there's this time, right, whenever, well, you're dirty. So there's this time that whenever I was at a youth event, those are my windows that were squeaking, that there was this forklift, and I was driving it around. I was driving at like a mile per hour, right, because I didn't want to get in any sort of trouble. I didn't want to like throw any of the kids off or anything. And one of my sponsors was like, you know I can drive that, right? I'm like, what? So we get on it. He's cruising around at like 90 miles per hour, whipping around, we're throwing rocks everywhere. Like nobody got hurt. And like, it was a blast. I rode on the front. He was like, woo, woo. Oh, it was great. Anyways, that's all that to say is that clearly whenever you have the right person driving, not only is it more fun and enjoyable, but it's also safer. So when you think about that in our own spiritual lives, think about how whenever we give up the reins and we allow God to actually take control, like we're able to do immeasurably more than we could ever imagine. And it's safer and more fun. So quit trying to do it yourself and just let God take over. It's going to be awesome. I think all of us get anxious or worried or nervous about different things, and it's totally normal. The thing is, when we look at Scripture, it's not super helpful. There's things in there like, don't worry about tomorrow, to worry about self, or, cast your cares upon the Lord, or trust in the Lord, and like all these things that pretty much are just like, yo, don't worry. But the thing is, worrying is normal. The best way to explain it is being worried or anxious about something is just perceiving a threat about something you care about. The easiest way for me to explain that is if my kids are out playing in a field and I think I see a snake going towards them, then I'm going to worry. I'm going to be anxious about what's going to happen to my children. The thing is, the snake could just be a stick. That doesn't matter. I think it's a snake and I perceive it as a threat and I care about my kids. So the thing is, it's not about like caring less about something. The thing is perceiving the threats. How real are the threats, and are the threats so big that God can't handle them? Obviously not. So there's this story, right? And it's found in 1 Kings. It's where this man of God named Elijah, and he really wants to hear God's voice. So he goes to this mountain and he starts praying. He's like, God, I want to hear your voice. And so then there's this mighty wind. Shatters rock, and like mountains are just getting tossed aside and stuff. So he's like, this has got to be God, but God's not there. Then there's a mighty earthquake. He's like, is this God? Not there either. Then a firestorm shows up, just lays asunder a ton of stuff. Still not God. So he quiets himself and he really listens. And then he hears God in a quiet whisper. Say all that. We look for God in big ways, but don't forget about the little stuff that God does for you every day and try to listen for Him. So like Jesus is God. I'm not sure if we've ever discussed this or not, but we totally should have, because back in Exodus, Moses is there and like God is in this burning bush and he's like, go set my people free. And so then he's like, yo, like whenever I go and I tell Pharaoh and all the Israelites, all these like Jewish people that God sent me, how are they going to believe me? And he's like, tell them that the I am sent you. And so then fast forward to Jesus showing up. And countless times in Scripture, Jesus says like,
I am the vine, I am the branches, and like all these I am statements. The craziest one that I think is whenever like they go to arrest Jesus and they're like, yo, is that you? He just says, I am. He doesn't say, I'm Jesus or I'm the one you're looking for. He just straight up says like, I am, referring to the fact that I am God. I'm the one that has created everything. So I think like, don't ever underestimate what the I am can do for you.